Hello, and this video is for to present a few tidbits about myself, things that I wish understanding for. At the moment I feel tired a little bit, but a little bit groggy, perhaps from too much ice cream. But I still felt this I want to share this, I want to have understanding. So this is what this video is about and or for. So number one, I want understanding. For I have an intrigue. I have an intrigue for talking about human, I call it human symbology, there we go. Human symbology, meaning that different human body parts have different meaning, and that we also interact, like how our personality, in how maybe even entire personalities can be formed based on our specific body parts. Like when I mention these human body parts, I mean specifically for men the penises and testicles and sperm and the sperm production around there, and for women it is the breasts, the meanings around those, and vaginas and their eggs, and how their reproductive system is there, and so on. This is also the same with women, how their personalities are formed and how they behave based on how their biological bodies function, like personalities, behaviors, ways of expressing. And this is why I have beliefs sometimes that some people act out more or less from either the penises, the testicles, or from these respective body parts specifically. And sometimes because of this I have a thought that if men can be dicks, wanting to move forward and bulldoze and just wanting to penetrate, does this mean women can be eggs? And then you say, oh, but aren't they vaginas then? No, I actually say eggs because eggs are much more, let's call it the end station. That's one of the, well, for men, the penises or dicks aren't, in any case, I'm going just, point is, the whole topic of, how the body parts interact with each other and how we behave and such, it's an intriguing topic to me, and that's a topic I'm interested in. And many people may have lack of understanding or maybe want to talk about their own bodies or human bodies in general, because we have been taught to human bodies equals you, especially genitals and breasts, and so so that's that. So thing number 2, I want understanding for my specific trauma I have been through. I have been through or have experienced extreme emotional neglect. It may not sound as outstanding as physical abuse like rape or other various forms of violence and such, but in my experience, neglect, it has another specific flavor. Neglect as its word implies, it is a sense of ignoring someone. Let's say this finger is the victim in this case of this neglect. Let's say you were to physically abuse, it would be like this other, around the finger would be like the abuser. They would go like, like hitting. Like, this is obvious. You can see that this finger is obviously, abusing this still-ish finger. So, but here's the thing. Neglect is like this. Like, it doesn't even pay attention. It isn't even like around this. Like, if the main experience is like this, like nothing, like not even like any other finger even paying attention, just, it's not even abandonment, it's just, it can be part of abandonment, but it's not even that, it's just ignoring that this finger is existing. So, the specific understanding here I want to often present or talk about or have an intrigue or interest for is the psychology of, behind what kind of psychology is created in these neglected spaces. And I can tell you from personal experience, most people don't want to talk about this. They have little to no interest in the psychology of this kind of trauma. And there is a good reason for that. Because neglect trauma in of itself has an added layer of neglect. The neglect of communication. So few people actually talk about neglect itself. Let's say you were barely given any hugs. Like in my case, I wasn't regularly hugged by mom. Like, fuck, I have never had a proper solid cuddle by mom either. She had never held me in my older child, teen or young adult or even older adult years. She had never held me for a solid 20 minutes, ever. Maybe when I was a baby, maybe. But when I was older, no, that never happened. So this is, and since it never happened, it was never considered as that important of an impact of my psyche. So it was rarely, if ever, constructively talked about or mentioned. And so, yeah, these are some of the details I could go much more in depth in. Yet very few people actually, have an intrigue to go deeper into. And so, yeah, thing number 3. This is something I challenged recently, a few years back. I got diagnosed with autism or Asperger's. The interesting thing, at the time I got this diagnosis, I was happy. I was excited. I thought, finally, I am like I have this diagnosis that makes sense, that explains everything. As years passed and I saw other people who had autism or Asperger, I started to, I got feedback and reflections of how they viewed themselves, how they fit in society, how they interacted with other people. And what I noticed was they are many, maybe even most, are so identified with their diagnosis that they are seeing them, like, it's as if they cannot see themselves as outside of that diagnosis. They can't see themselves outside of that label. It's as if they have identified as to become the autism itself. It's like, I am autism incarnate. You know, it's like, I am the autism god, like the god of ADD or ADHD, or I'm the god of Asperger's. It's like some sort of odd extreme intense identification going on there. But what I questioned was this. The thought why I questioned this diagnosis was, it was a label that I never gave myself to begin with. I never woke up one day and just said, oh, I have Asperger's. And now that's solid. Like, no, I never did that. Like, a psychologist gave me that label. I never did. Society did. Society gave me that label. Society gave me that thing or label thing onto me. And that's the society's mental health box of disorders, or what you may call it, dysfunctional themes, or autism in this case. And to me, when the society or psychologist gives you these labels, true, it does feel awesome at the time that, okay, this explains everything. Yet, if you think about it, how much are you willing to cling on to that label? I mean, eventually it can become like, if I was to question, hey, do you know about this disorder or thing that psychologist gave you? Like that, this disorder or depression disorder or like autism or whatever. Let's focus on autism in this context. And then if people go, don't you dare question my autistic authority. It's like, but why? It's like, why? It's like autism a new religion I should be aware of? Like, is autism this like heightened state of being or of existing that like is deemed in such a high regard, as if the autism itself was a god that is worshipped? That if I was to question it, people just go, oh, how dare you question my religion of autism? It's like, why? It's like, if it has gone that far, then maybe it's time to question it. And then you go, how dare you question like psychologists, scientists, and like all the scientific and psychological evidence to support this autism spectrum or labels. I dare question them because we are human. Like, we all are human, even scientists and psychologists. Just because someone has the label of psychologist, scientists, or doctor, or what have you, it never meant that they were gods in their own rights. It never meant that they knew everything. Like, every human can question anything. This is a power anyone can have and can practice, which is something I do. But And if we cannot question people who have these professions, then something is off with the system. Like, if the people who work in these professions cannot, like, and what they present cannot be questioned, that is unscientific as fuck. That is so unscientific to be unable to question itself. This is the mindset of the scientists that actually work. You know, I wanna know why. Because if they question things too much, they lose their jobs. And this is why, like, because me, a regular citizen, I have no job. Also, by the way, I live from, because of my own diagnosis, I have, autism money, as I call it. And so, yeah, in any case. So, I mean, what I mean, the short story of this long story is that I can question. I have nothing to lose by questioning these things. Or to question, I have nothing, no status to lose by questioning, these kinds of people. So yeah, that's most the third thing I want understanding for. That I am questioning things outside of the box. Even from the box I myself came from, having. Let's see here if there were more points I wished understanding for. Let's call it a 3.5 or a 3 point. How do I make a point with my fingers? 3.5. 5? 3.5. 3.5 or 4, whatever. Is that I like to question things. I like to explore topics which is so normalized not to even question or talk about. And because of this, I have a tendency to express in odd ways. And these odd ways is so unnormal that it just it's just what did I even listen to? Kind of way sometimes. And welcome to my reality. Well, part of my reality. This is how I do it within my own head, my own feelings. And so this is what I am naturally going to express, outward. Because that's what I am or have already been doing inside of my own head or my own belief systems and patterns. I'm practicing questioning these incredibly normalized, socialized norms we have been raised with to believe in. And because when it comes, in my opinion, when it comes to the point when we hold on so hard, so incredibly hard to a concept or topic, and we are so unwilling to even consider expanding or stretch our minds to something outside of that holding on, isn't it time? Or if you create almost a religion of that hard hold, it's like you're basically willing to say, no, I'm going to go on a crusade to the people who question anything I am holding so hard onto. Like, isn't it the time to kind of question things when it has gone that far, you know? So that's, my take on that. And some topics, in my opinion, they have got to come up to the surface. Like, how else can we grow? How else can we learn about the things that is generally suppressed in society? So that was a fourth thing I wanted understanding for my questioning life and what life is. And if we're going to round this whole video up with a final fifth point, so number 5, I want to form my own opinion of what a human life is about. A unique perspective that is truly my own, based from my life experiences, my own learning of all of these topics, and my interests in general. Just what is a human life, and how to be constructive about a human life as much as possible. And one of the conclusions I have come to when it comes to a basic human, like, let's call it need structure, there are 4 main needs to being a human, in my opinion, to live a constructive human life. Number 1, within this, in any case, number 1 base need, have shelter from the harsh weather, because humans are extremely sensitive to weather. And if there is harsh weather outside, humans are going to become way more anxious, afraid, and extreme discomfort. And so humans, this is why humans need to have a comfort zone of a house or clothing to protect from the weather. Number 2, connection, to have that sense of interacting with other humans, to play with other humans, to just to interact, to have to practice the love languages, and to practice love, and to practice receiving and giving, and to grow together, and to just be together, to have that sense of belonging with together, and all of these human things. And number 3 base need, food. Like food that aids in the environment existing. Food, in my opinion, and this is going to go with the meat thing, but this is not against meat. It's just look at the environment, and meat in general is if all people, if we continue as humans to the whole population to grow, there will eventually be no room left to produce all the meat necessary for every human alive. They would just, and all of the vegetables or the grain we feed these animals, there is no room to feed the animals that is going to feed humans. There will be no room, because all of the room is placed not for the humans but for the rest of the things to feed us. Which the rest of the in the case this is a topic on its own, and I'm not gonna take time for that in this video, but so yeah, most often vegetables, fruits, and things that are naturally grown from the earth. This is my belief is the future forward to nourishment and protein and all of that stuff. Now, and that last of my list, and this is something way forgotten and overlooked. Most people don't even know about this that much. And even if they do, they don't mention it that much. Or I haven't seen it at least. But number 4, self-reflection. This is an important one. Like, imagine even the early cavemen having discovered fire, when they were to sit in a circle around the fire they had made and just stare at the damn fire. Stare at the damn thing and think. Starting to actually whoa, this is energy. To stare and just starting to develop some form of thinking back. And because here's the thing, if we cannot have some form of self-reflective learning, meaning if we are unable to basically find this, again, this is a topic on its own, what self-reflection is, but in my opinion it is vital for a human to have this self-reflective stepping point to move forward, to grow, to develop themselves. Because if we do not have this stepping forward by looking back at how we used to express ourselves, we can stay stuck in the same way for decades. We can basically have the same behaviors as a 20-year-old, stuck at the same ways until we become in the 30s, 40s, up into the 60s and into the 90s, to never change. It's kind of scary when you think about it, that a human can be that stuck in their ways of thinking, talking, and expressing themselves. That's not a human that is healthy, which is what I am claiming, with this, what my own version of a healthy human life is a human that can actually move forward with themselves, to improve their sense of self, to expand, to question themselves, and to recognize where they were, where they are, and to move forward from that. How to move forward. This is my version of, because if either of these 4 base of food and shelter, connection, shelter and clothes, darn it, connection, right, and food and self-reflection, if either one of these 4 are gone, that's an unhealthy human, in my opinion. So I have a solid base opinion there, so I like that, and I think this is a good stop. So there you have it, my 5 things I want understanding for in how I think, how I feel, and how that this is a part of my own philosophy of how I think about life in general, and that this is, damn it, I wanted a bonus. One of my bonus, the secret, not hidden, but a 6th thing is my sense of comedy. There is a sense of fun with me that is sort of unique or odd sometimes. It is definitely there though, but that's just So yeah, there you guys have it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and oh, damn, my hair looked pretty today. So pretty. And yeah. So, thank you for looking at my pretty hair and listening to me. So, see you next time.